It's the Joel Shit Show, featuring Joel Shit. Hi, welcome to the Joel Shit Show. I'm your host, Joel Shit. So, yesterday, well, the 49ers were off this week, so that means that I didn't have a 49er game to watch. And at 1 o'clock, there was only one game on, and it was the Raiders, the Oakland Raiders, and the Atlanta Falcons. Although really it was the Atlanta Falcons and your local high school. It was one of the worst football games I've ever seen. As if it weren't bad enough that Atlanta went Tecmo style on them and was up 24-0 at halftime, having outgained them 309 to -2, or if you're the San Jose Mercury News, 313 to -2. I don't know where they got their information from. But then, in the second half, neither team really cared, and they were just running out the clock, kind of like the Dallas-New York game, except at least there the Giants scored some and let the Cowboys score some. So at least it was entertaining. So, stupid Raiders, typical stupid Raiders. I tell you, you could make a division with like the Raiders, the 49ers, the Chiefs, and the Lions, and they would find a way to like tie every game 0-0 just so no one would get 8 wins. I mean, it was just a ridiculously bad game. It was so bad the game ended at like 3:50. So on the West Coast, our games start at 1:15, 10 and 1:15. There's a few 1 o'clock games. For you East Coast people, the games start at 1 and 4:15 with the occasional 4 o'clock start. So for us, those afternoon games always end around 4, 4:30, sometimes 4:45 if it goes into overtime. So that's running into your 60 minutes we'll be seeing in its entirety that we don't get because we're on the West Coast. And now I say except on the West Coast. 3:50 the Raider game ended. It ended so early they didn't have another game to put on. We'd like to welcome people who are watching the Atlanta Falcons beat the Oakland Raiders. There was none of that. It was all post-game shit. So I put SportsCenter on. It was so early that SportsCenter wasn't on yet. It was still World Series of Poker. Speaking of which, the last 2 years I have paid for the pay-per-view streaming of the Final Table, but the Final Table starts on the 9th, and the broadcast on ESPN is on the 11th, and I think it's just going to be the heads-up battle, right? So if I want to see the Final Table, can I do it? I searched on the web for, pay-per-view Final Table, and it's all information about last year. There is nothing on the web about this year's Final Table, whether it's going to be televised, whether it's going to be on pay-per-view or what. Or at least like a fucking podcast, because there's not much to look at anyway, be honest. But I really would like to see that. I mean, that's like one of my favorite things to do. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Visit us on the web at joelshitshow.com. Email joel@joelshitshow.com.